This is Heresy. This is a Transformers collectible figure that doesn't transform, and I love it. For those of you who are unaware, ThreeZero picked up the Transformers line from 3A Toys after it closed shop a couple of years ago. Rest in peace to an absolutely amazing manufacturer of unique action figures. And they came out swinging with a number of insanely detailed collectibles across a wide variety of scale sizes. The DLX line has caught my attention specifically, and when the first pictures were shown off for what is arguably one of the best Optimus Prime live action incarnations, hell, I wanted to give them my money right away. But I was too late. I shit you not, I waited years, actual literal years, for a chance to pick up one of these brand new from a re-release. I had gotten other Transformers figures in the interim, but this was the one that I wanted the most. And friends, let me tell you, the wait was worth it. I absolutely do have a soft spot for the original Bayverse Optimus Prime and his more regal upgrade from Age of Extinction, but you just cannot beat a good G1 Optimus Prime. We've seen some terrific interpretations of this design across a wide variety of media, and they've all had those uniform elements in place. A big blocky chest, a perfect balance of red and blue, that wonderfully chunky ion blaster, and a truck mode that means business. And then there's the Bumblebee film that gave us the Optimus Prime that married the legacy of that character with some modern day flourishes that looks perfect. So with that preamble out of the way, let's have a look at this Optimus. There is so much going on here, and this figure captures that instant selling point for me. Endless visual interest. I can take this collectible, look at any angle of it, and I'll be captivated by what I see. Every single panel, every single part is just a beautifully detailed piece of precision engineering that makes this Optimus look like he was pulled straight from the Transformers universe. That red on his chest plate, the beautiful metallic blue on his legs and hands, that weathered white stripe on his shoulders, I am in love with this. Mixed between all those primary colors is a gorgeous selection of gunmetal grey that brings out the mechanical nature of this figure, completing the overall effect. If I do have a point of criticism though, is that with the red paint specifically, some of it could have benefited from being a touch bit more metallic. There are a small number of flat red sections on this model that only serve to make a plastic piece look even more plastic, and that's a shame. It doesn't bother me unless I'm looking for it, but it is there. It's a slight blemish on an otherwise perfect paint job that sports some of the best weathering effects I've seen to date. But it has me curious to see how this effect stacks up on the alternate models that ThreeZero released. I'm way too late to grab the Nemesis Prime or Shattered Glass versions of this figure without having to pay exorbitant aftermarket fees, but there is that Ultra Magnus version of Optimus coming out soon. Who knows, I think I might get it just to have two battling Autobot brothers. So let's talk about the details on Optimus. I mentioned above how you can stare at it from any angle and you'll be captivated at what you see. And to paraphrase the franchise, there's more than meets the eye here. You have the overt details like engine parts, panel lines, and actual rubber tires, but once you get this guy in hand and you start moving him, he becomes a work of toy manufacturing beauty. I mean, just look at his back, this obscenely detailed spinal column with pistons and pipes. It is beautiful. It is a secret section of incredible design that has zero shortcuts. I said incredible very weirdly there, didn't I? I do wish that the chest piece had received the same amount of love and care, especially because you'll see that more often than you will the back of Optimus, and the blacked out pecs does cheapen the design, but only slightly. I don't even have to leave him in a dynamic pose, because right out of the box and with a blaster in his hand, he just looks that good in a stock standard museum pose. And speaking of posing, what a dude. I think this is the beauty of a Transformers figure that cannot transform, because it means zero compromises on the articulation. There is some really clever stuff going on under the plastic hood of this Optimus, parts that are designed to make him look as seamless as possible when you start manipulating his limbs and joints. On the hips, the side skirts are especially brilliant if you're planning to go for a less dynamic pose, but if you want to have him in a more action-packed display of power, these move wonderfully well to accommodate a wide range of motion. Every limb is rock solid here with tight joints. I haven't had to bust up my nail polish varnish for any of them, and they'll hold a pose for as long as you want. Just make certain that you use the included display stand, because nothing is more heartbreaking than seeing $250 worth of collectible figure taking a tumble. So overall, arms work brilliantly, legs have more than enough room to do leaps and crouches, and that ab crunch is just a chef's kiss emoji. My single gripe here is the head articulation, as you'll need to decapitate Optimus if you want him looking to the side. It's decent for the front-facing swivels, but there is a slight collision of parts when you start practicing some chiropractic arts on him. Not the end of the world, and this is the nature of the beast that we're dealing with here. As for the accessories, this is pretty much a standard release from ThreeZero. You get that excellent display base that can be used to reenact your favorite Optimus scenes, a selection of rubber hands to swap in, and his ion blaster. The weapon looks fantastic by the way, but don't expect any light or sound features on it. It's an accessory, but at least it's a good looking one. I have zero buyer's remorse with this figure, and I think that's the best compliment I can give it. There are a few improvements that can be made, but in my DLX collection, this is the piece that draws in my eyes first. This is Optimus Prime at his visual best, a celebration of the character across all generations. There's always something to look at when your eyes lock onto it. It can strike a fantastic pose, and I don't think it gets better than this. Ah shit, here we go again.